Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the DoorDash LCO, where we are about to jump into match number 4, which is, of course, going to be Direwolves and Peace going head-to-head. Now, this one could be a banger matchup. Again, Peace are going to be fielding that roster from yesterday, so keeping it fresh, keeping it different, and trying to maybe catch some of their opponents off guard with a different strategy that they are not expecting. I guess that's what is coming out of their camp, but let's talk Peace first anyway. So, Juvenator, I need you to take me through this Peace roster and tell me why you think it can be successful and what the win conditions are.
Yeah, the Groovy Juvie, it will bring you through this one. I think Talia as a mid laner is just really good, really solid. Has a lot of the ability to shot call a game. Cheon and Zingy aren't really known aren't really known quantities, but from seeing solo queue and just seeing them around like throughout the years, they've got some very good mechanical skill behind them, so it's not going to be a problem for them to match up against the Direwolves bot lane. And then Appy and Lisa, like, we know what they're like, we know what they're about. So I think this is, looks like a bit of a, like, obviously not their first, like their main priority or not their first strength roster, but I think a lot of people sleep on this team. This is actually quite a good team. I mean, they lost to PGG. I mean, most teams are losing to them nowadays, but
Very true.
Wouldn't surprise me if this Beast team surprises a few people.
Let's see how they go up against Direwolves, of course. But Skiminator, Skimmy, Skim Dog, Skim Puppy, Skimmy.
Skim Milk.
Skim Milk? Oh,
We got them all, mate.
I forgot that one. What are your thoughts on Peace before we move on to the Direwolves?
I think it's good though. I think it's just like the narrative of the whole league right now is people are diving deep into their rosters and saying that we have this ability to flex out people that need time or we want to try out different ideas. I think, as Jukes has mentioned, Peace have some very mechanically gifted players signed to them. If they've been hungry and performing in scrims, give them a chance. Let them pop off. Bring
true.
back whatever the full force composition might look like, and guns blazing 2 weeks to go after this. The mad rush to playoffs.
Well, there you go. That's enough out of you, Skimboard. Now let's talk Direwolves. So, Jubes, tell me about Direwolves and what they have to do to win up against the roster, which they should be prepared for, but are they? That's the question.
I mean, the Direwolves looking pretty good in recent weeks, only having an absolute blinder yesterday. Absolute blinder. So this team's just going from strength to strength in terms of individual ability, because I think where they fell short in recent weeks, previously, what was just their laning phase, right? Like they were kind of coming out of lane at deficits, but I think they really shored that up, and now they're really working on how they collaborate as a team, and they're looking quite scary at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly are, and I'm worried about what Only can do today, because yesterday he played spectacularly. I don't know if you guys watched, and I think I saw you guys in Twitch chat,
yeah,
but there was the old crazy mechanics on the Xin Zhao over in the Baron Pit. Were you happy with that little play that they pulled off?
Yeah, I'm always happy when a jungler does something good, because we don't get enough credit.
True, of course. Now, Skimmy, head-to-head, which team do you think has the mechanical ability to take this one? Is it both? And say yes.
It could be. It could very well be, right? I think whenever I see Only playing as Zhao, a piece of me becomes warm and comfy and content knowing that, Peace is about the Rift and that a victory is soon to happen. Same could be said for Cupcake when he plays the Bard. The risk, I suppose, is that, if you're falling too comfortable, maybe teams start to say, we ban that away. Are you well-rehearsed enough on other ideas, right? So whilst it's looked good that Direwolves have been able to come back, they had their win streak broken apart. They're clawing themselves back in. There's only a 2-game differential between the likes of themselves and Peace, so they're going to have to be on their best performance if draft doesn't go their way.
Well, someone that always has great performances is Nat. So let's bring Nat back into the conversation. How you doing, Nat? You having a good time? You performing well?
Yeah, I'm always waiting for you to do one of these lead-ups, but then say someone else that's already on the panel.
Can I just say, that's not what Max said on Skype to me, but...
On Skype? Was Joel there?
Joel was there. He threw a conversation.
He got on.
You didn't say that. You didn't say that.
Oh, crazy. Well, that was... You shouldn't leak DMs, Jubes. You shouldn't leak scrim results either. Okay, so none of that. But who do you have that could leak some things in the pregame?
I was going to say, maybe we can get some scrim results from the 2 people I am going to be talking to, and that's going to be Appy and Claire. Thank you both so much for joining me. Appy, we see you going back to the top lane now. Does that give you a little bit more confidence? Is it a role that you're a little bit more comfortable in? And does that mean you guys are going to get a win tonight?
I'll say top lane is definitely more comfortable for me, more than support at least, because I mean, I've been playing top lane for a year already, so yeah, I think we're pretty confident to get a win tonight. With my top lane.
Awesome. I love hearing that. Now, you guys did play with this roster last night and unfortunately lost to PGG. But, you know, has there been a lot of practice and scrims going your way with this roster? Have you had a chance to scrim with them?
With PGG, you mean? I think with this roster, we're doing well, doing pretty good in scrims. We're not gonna like right now we in a pretty struggle position, like team ranking. So we're not gonna take the risk that we shouldn't. So like I'm still pretty confident with this roster right now.
I love to hear it. Now, Claire, over on Direwolves, you see this roster change up. Does it change much in the way of you guys with the prep that you've been doing coming into this matchup?
I mean, obviously you prepare for who you're versing, right? And we kind of figured they would run this roster back, like the roster that they used yesterday. So I think we have a lot less information to work with because a lot of these players haven't played that much. But at the end of the day, you just prepare for yourself. Like you focus on what you're improving on and try to bring that versus any opponent that you verse. And today we found out we're versing this roster, so we just figured out what we should draft versus them, what we think is going to be good. Obviously it's a lot harder, but we still got to do what our best is.
For sure. And what do you think is your best? Like, what do you think is going to be your advantage to try and get a win tonight?
Well, I think a lot of the teams in LCO have kind of figured out what our style is, and I think we kind of thrive when we win early games. So when we pick aggressive picks that skirmish really early, fight over crabs, create an early lead, that's kind of where we get our wins from. I don't think we're good at scaling and like playing patiently, so that's where I think we'll find an advantage.
Well, I look forward to seeing if it's going to be the early game or the late game, but thank you both so much for joining me and good luck in the game tonight.
Thank you.
Always good to hear from the players, and good to see that Appy is feeling extremely comfortable going back to the top lane. So hopefully the comfortability will equal some results here. I just need to shout out the Tally in chat. You know, he was mac jamming with me when no one else was. So maybe I won't predict Twitch chat's prediction. Maybe I'll go for peace, huh? Although it's too late to change. So let's look at the predictions, and it's Mackie Boy with the Twitch chat. Let's see how this one goes. Jubes has gone for peace, Skimmy on Direwolf. So already a bit of a split here, Jubes.
Well, it's a win-win for me, right? Because if Peace win, I catch up and I've got the head-to-head against Skimmy, so that's fine. And then if Direwolves win, I never trust in Tally again, and he's just burnt the bridge with me, so that's fine. Completely fine.
Okay.
Me and Tally used to run co-streams, so bit of a bias.
Friendship ended. Gone. For me, I think full strength roster. I think you know, the slow scaling nature of them as a team, despite them saying that they want to play for a more aggressive style early. I think they should just have a few more tricks up their sleeve. I think, mid jungle has been phenomenal in recent form. I think Only's been playing out of his mind. Sure, Zinzao has been his comfort pick, but I'm sure if anything else is fostered, then he's going to be in that sort of state of mind where he can play aggressively. Shock as well. I think Shock was nearly the game changer in the game against Pentanet. Got caught out of position. Obviously, the game went against them, but I think those two are in hot form, so that should be the difference for me.
They certainly are. Now, if you want to be in hot form too, make sure you're eating well. So exclamation DoorDash in chat. Get yourself a healthy dinner or an unhealthy dinner. Who am I to tell you what to do? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Champ Select is already bloody ready. So we're going to be jumping straight into the final game of the evening. Here it is at Direwolves and Peace.
Beauty Mac, let's kick it off. Week 7, it's the final game of the night of the week, as we start to reach the business end of this league. And as I mentioned before, coming into this one, Juves, Direwolves are they're locked in at 4th, but Peace are in 5th, and they're hot on their heels. Only 2 games buffering them, so if they can get a dub here tonight, those final 2 spots up for grabs become that much harder.
Yeah, Peace on the prowl. But it would be the opposite, because Direwolves would probably be on the prowl. So, but anyway.
Maybe a dragon can prowl?
I don't think dragons prowl, I'll be honest with you. I think
big.
dragons more like breathe fire and stuff.
True.
I've never seen a dragon, to be honest. I've only heard stories. The one thing I wanted to touch on immediately was that there's a lot... Whoa, the Zin's out. Yep, taken away from Only. So, going to have to think of something else there for the Direwolves early on. But these mid lane bans are like, yeah, the LeBlanc could be a generic one, but the Cassiopeia is like specific. And what that says to me is that they're shaping up for a few Tally champs. Potentially the Galio, potentially the Rise, maybe the Lucian. But these are champions that Tally is pretty comfortable with, that translate from his time as a mid laner, but also like as a top laner.
Yeah, and it feels like a little bit like they learned their lesson from the time that these two teams met in Week 5, where Shock did play the Cassiopeia, had a flawless game, 6-0-6, so not willing to let that one through, give Tally the best matchup possible, but if you can't get the Zen, well, at least you can get the Bard.
They got the Bard, but I feel like when it's this predictable, and again, Cupcake's on another level when it comes to this champion, but surely it's punishable. Like, surely there's just a hook champ, a hard engage champ, like something that's punishable. Or, because Bard's not your traditional kill lane, you can pick an enchanter bot lane and just outscale if you want to go that route too. But because you have the Xin Zhao, I dare say you want something a little more aggressive.
Let's see what that comes in the form and shape of. As Volibear's also been chosen here. We've seen it flexed in the jungle and top lane too. It's actually played once by Claire, first time in his career, which was a bit of an interesting one. And you'd probably want to see that in the jungle more than anything at this stage, as Peace truly have gone all out aggression, confirming it with the Renekton as their third pick.
But I don't mind this because they actually have a double flex. Like when you're Direwolves drafting in this particular way, you need to have an answer for the Renekton and the Sylas, because they both, Appy and Tally, can play both sides, right? And so it's nice because it creates a draft headache now. What do? Who are you drafting for? Do you draft something that does well into the Renekton? Is it something that's good into the Sylas? So, you know, yeah, I'm keen to see where this one goes up. And only reason that the only reason I'm really high on it is because they're both top laners. Like, in Renekton's got to be their bread and butter. I mean, it's been in the meta for so long now.
For sure. And yeah, you wouldn't be surprised to see that Appy, you know, we definitely touted him as one of the best in the league in Split 1, right, when he was playing that role mainly. Alongside the likes of Biopanther, and that was always a bit of a fun spectacle to see in their big brawl in the full best of 5. So,
well, you know what I wouldn't even be surprised to see, and this is just a theory craft from another dimension, but we got the time.
Sure.
Is I wouldn't mind seeing, like, put your hand up. Who's the most comfortable Renekton player? Is it Tally or is it Appy, or who's the best one? If it's Tally, then Tally is following, because Tally can play top lane, is a top laner, and Appy's played mid lane before. Like, literally, they've both mirrored each other in terms of what they've played. So it's just a fun time to be a Peace fan, because honestly, you don't even know who's going to go where, what's going to go what. The only thing we do know is one of them's going to be playing either side of the matchup.
Yeah, just the variation's gone wild. You start to wonder, right? You know, when you can start to look at rosters and say it's changing week upon week, but if the lane matchups, everything else is going in at a full circle, you have to hope that the boys themselves are all on board with the same plan and say, look, I am going to play top lane, and you're going to be flexing mid. Everybody's moving around, just having a bit of a try of everything, but hopefully that's not a hindrance.
Now, Skimmy, I don't know if you remember this, but I'm going to bring it up. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, we casted the University League together, right?
Yeah, back in OCS.
And now, do you remember Chaeon?
I don't. I'm going to fact check it right here, right now.
Chaeon was the guy that we were freaking out about. We're like, wait, this guy is like the uni guy? Like, he was solo 1v9ing the team on Varus. Do you remember?
Oh, it's the Varus
That's
player.
Chaeon, yeah.
No way.
That's Chaeon. That's why I'm saying, like, they're a good, like, they're not a bad team, this Peace team.
Well,
yeah.
It's because of the name change, isn't it?
Yes.
What team was he on? I'm trying to remember now.
I can't remember the uni team.
We're just doing it live.
I can't.
Oh,
there we go.
Himself.
That's the man we're talking about.
Clean haircut, isn't it?
Yeah, clean haircut, clean glasses. Just a clean look, to be honest with you.
With the blanket behind him.
Yep. Not mucking about.
Because he's sweating.
Not mucking about.
And he's going to be getting it done on the Rift here today.
Yep.
Oh, well, that makes sense then, because, yeah, we were definitely blowing our mind.
Yeah.
Right? Just watching it happen. It's like, how is this guy so good in lane, so dominant?
And like, we never heard of him at the time, because it was just a university tournament, and he never really, like, played competitive before. But, again, it's just a fun fact for you, I guess. Not many other people here would know about that. But, I mean, for context, like, he was just absolutely smurfing, just dropping bombs.
Well, hopefully, Tally can do the same with all 10 pixels of him.
Well,
Get to see where he does go in this lane matchup, though. I'm very curious, now that you've sort of opened that can of worms about saying that you can flex, if that has been something they've rehearsed and practiced as a possibility.
Well, you want every advantage that you can get, right? And whether it's from personnel swaps, champion swaps, whatever it is. I mean, if you play at a handicap because you don't have like your main roster out, then at least, you know, utilize the flexes that you have. But again, Appy for me, he's kind of a player that, like, when's he going to find his home? You know, in which role? Because genuinely have a lot of respect for him as a player.
Yeah.
Because he just does what the team needs. He's just a real team man, isn't he?
Have we ever had, I mean, take me down memory road, you've obviously been involved in the scene a lot longer than me. Take me down memory road, has there ever been a player this flexible, willing to play so many professional roles?
There is, but not in professional play. There's a guy named Carbon who's just absolute flex. He's a flex demon. Yeah, flex demon. He's honestly a little bit old, so maybe a lot of people haven't heard of him. But
Sure.
on a serious note, he's probably the most flexible because even when he spent time in China, he swapped roles. That's when he went from mid lane to support. Then he went to top lane, back to support. Now he's back top lane, and I think he just hasn't played jungle.
It's just phenomenal to me that you can have a player, you know, that well-rounded, right? That they can be confident in their ability to go along with it and then fill in the gaps that the team needs. Because we've seen players make the role swaps, and it has taken a fair bit of time for them to, you know, find their footing. Because it's not as simple as just saying, you know, play this champ, there's your matchup, off you go.
I think there's transferable roles in the sense that jungle to support, like Lisa said, and Lisa had a good time playing that role. You know, you got to survive the laning phase, you got to survive the 2v2, but once you can get out of that lane, you almost mirror a second jungler. Like if you get your reset timings and you move topside, move to whatever objective it is, then that's fine.
Yeah.
I think the hardest pivots would be like going from jungle to mid lane, or like going jungle to top lane, you know, or mid lane to support, because they're just different playstyles, different champions, and you don't really have the same influence in a team fight than you would. So, yeah.
Just waiting for word from the producers as to where we're at, because it looks like we've got somebody that's actually dropped from the lobby, disconnect. So I do think, if I am reading this correctly, we've actually got a video that we can put up on your screens to keep you guys entertained as we get ourselves ready, because this isn't a chat show, it's pure entertainment. Enjoy this.
It would have to be the middle bush in like the both bot lane and top lane, like near the alcoves, because I feel like that bush is so like underrated. And once you have control of that bush, it's just like you have like so much control of the lane.
It's the bush between Krugs and red, but like to the side. If you sit on the edge of the bush, you can see the red buff, and that's usually a good place to ambush.
On the way from tier 2 tower to tier 1, like sometimes you pretend you recall there and you just catch someone on their way back to lane, or like they'd never expect someone to just be in that bush, like if you stay there long enough.
Probably pixels, like, yeah, the ones in river, they're kind of annoying because it's just kind of like you see a lot of the river.
Well, I can say there's one bush I don't like to hide in, but like I hide in all the time. It's around the second turret, because when enemy jungle is ganking me, my jungle is doing stuff in bot lane, I have no choice, I have to stay there to not die.
Bot tri bush, without a doubt. As a support, yeah, bot tri bush.
I think the red buff bush is the easiest one because every single ADC will be greedy enough to walk over there and then face check just because they want their red buff, and you know, surprise, surprise, and Irelia or a Camille is waiting for them.
I think it's the bot bushes or the top bushes past like 15 minutes. Those bushes are extremely broken. Like no one expects a lane gank past 15 minutes.
I think it's the tri bushes in top lane and bot lane near the ground.
Bush is like just behind the red buff, because AD carries always just like auto pass straight to, it's probably that one. They auto pass straight to the red buff, and like they never expect anyone to be there. So you see them doing red buff and you just one shot them.
Yeah, like the one beside Dragon is usually pretty fun. Usually it's like a one people like neglect to think about.
Pixel bush, which is around the mid.
I quite like the bush above raptors. So like the enemy jungler is like coming to farm his raptors, and that's when you kill him. It makes me smile a little, you know? Yeah.
The third bush in the bottom lane, like closest to the enemy turret.
At the top of the map near the second tier tower, like you can like sneak in there without them saying.
Near the tier 1 turret at bot lane.
Like in between tier 1 and tier 2 bush, so when they're walking back to lane, you just like kill them when they're walking back, when they don't expect it.
And you just hide in like their blue buff bush and try to see if their mid will come get blue coming out of base. That's my favorite bush to sit in. Like denying enemy mid lane of blue like gives me dopamine, so that's like the best bush to cheese in.
Pixel bush right next to mid.
The first bush in the lane,
of each lane of top and bot. The bush is just like, just has no purpose, and that's the bush that everyone just goes AFK and when it's FF, so it's a good bush. When the game's just over, you just go there and AFK.
Well, now that you know how these players are going to look to try and gank you, we can actually look to try and jump in to see the action for those ganks to take place. Welcome back, Juves. Peace taken on Direwolves. We've whizzed through where we were and added a couple more.
Yeah, it's good to be back. We've added the Zoe to the mix, right? And then we've added the Ezreal to the mix. What I would actually love to see as an answer to the well, I mean now Zoe and Ziggs, is Ezreal. It's fine, like you have the extra mobility, but the one champion that just denies mages in general, or at least ones that function on the same way as Ziggs, is Sivir. You have the spell shield, and you just deny Mega Inferno Bomb. That's the biggest ability in the mid to late game, right? Like the majority of what happens in a skirmish or in a team fight is going to come from that bomb. And I mean, Sivir is just free real estate in that sense. You're just able to deny it. But you know, we don't have that Sivir priority. Of course, I don't think Sivir is like an S tier champion by any means, but it really just denies a big component of Direwolves' composition.
We've seen moments of it, but definitely not as much as, say, other regions in the world to try and match this, you know, mage reintroduction to the bot lane, right? They have gone for a hard poke shove wave in the Ezreal and the Karma. And it's the confirmation, right? We do get the Volibear into the jungle, Claire onto his most popular champion. I actually brought up a stat yesterday that he's undefeated on this champion so far, so maybe a bit of a good luck charm.
Yeah, but he's also drafted himself into the Renekton Camille matchup.
Well, he's after the counter pick, isn't he, right? Is this not a sign of confidence, or it's just maybe a little bit brazen?
Well, I think the Renekton wins, like in the early game. Obviously, you get outscaled, but it's whether or not you can do enough in the early game to really, I mean, put Claire, Camille into a hole. Obviously, you know, Xin Zhao, Renekton, probably the 2v2 that'll be able to do it here. But again, Only and Claire have been, I guess, in recent weeks, having a lot more proximity towards each other. So there'll probably be a bigger focus in making sure that doesn't happen.
Yep.
And again, Only just seems to pivot from these two champions, right? From the Xin Zhao to the Volibear to the Xin Zhao. I'm a believer, if you take press the attack, you actually do outtrade the Xin Zhao in the early game. Especially Divine Sunder being such a good item on the Volibear. But maybe I'll have to fact check myself on that one.
Would be curious to see what the most popular one is. I tend to see press the attack be a pretty common option, right? So wouldn't be surprised given that his success is found in that regard of being aggressive, being a bully, and knowing that Peace are going to be very hungry themselves to get a win. They've got themselves an aggressive draft to fight fire with fire. It's, well, 4 defeats on the bounce here for Peace. They need a win. They brought in some new members. Maybe a bit of rejuvenation here for the mental. And a chance to still get themselves into the playoffs mix. As for the side of Direwolves, you don't want to say it's business as usual, but certainly keep themselves on the straight and narrow and lock themselves in like the other 3 teams.
Yeah, it's also a must-win for Direwolves, right? Their split's by no means in danger, but you obviously don't want to be the team that gives Peace a kind of, I guess, a second win, the resurgence.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, they pick up this win, that's almost that's a 2-game swing, right? The way I look at it is because you've lost and they've won. It's not like they're not versing each other. So in that sense, I like this level 1. They figured something out, right? This is
Let's see what happens in the level 1. Bear in mind, guys, this game is the final one of the week, and the series is tied 1-1 for the head-to-head. So a decider to try and see, given how close things are, what could be the outcome. But as we get ourselves ready for this match, let's bring in Midlord to the conversation. So we can ask a couple of questions. Mate, pleasure to have you back on the show with us. I want to start by asking, we've seen, well, 4 different lineups from the team. Do you think you've found your strongest one?
Yep. Almost is the strongest one we have as the second.
Oh, fantastic. So in that regard, we should be seeing the big power buff, if you will, in the final 2 weeks as you race towards playoffs. Talk to me about the position, right? Kind of fallen from grace in the sense that you're now tied in 5th. No longer the case given the results that have happened today. But how do you ensure that the team makes playoffs?
Because we find a suitable way for us to play the game. Actually, I want to know what happened in level 1. I heard you talk about the level 1 fight. Is that?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to wait and see as we're going to watch it. I've got Big Juves on the sidelines absorbing it all, ready to break it down for us. Final note, talk to me about the draft. Clearly, there was a denial on the Xin Zhao, no surprises there, but were you surprised by the fact that Claire willingly took the Camille into Renekton?
Yeah, maybe his confidence of Camille, I think. Did he bring Ignite?
He did.
That counts. Yeah, so that's it. But doesn't matter because they just want to dive Renekton level 6 with Volibear. I think Appy will play very safely. It will be fun.
Yeah, we've seen what Epic can do in the past. Right, Midlaw, we'll crack on with the game, and you can catch up and see how the level 1 played out. And
Sure.
wish you boys the best of luck.
Sure, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, I didn't know he was there yet. Oh, Mr. Phil's not happy with me.
What have I missed, mate?
Mr. Phil's not happy with me at all.
Well, I'm watching mid lane, and I am seeing that Tally is in a bit of a roughie, already down to 50%.
Yeah, it's rough early because you don't have the 100 to 0 or the kill threat onto the Zoe, and she just auto attacks you, withers you down, procs the electrocute, has the ignite as well. So you need to just, I guess, weather the storm in the early game, and then obviously, you know, once you hit that, you know, that one item, potentially get a little bit of magic resistance. Because again, if we take stock of Direwolf's composition, right, if Claire doesn't get ahead, I mean, they don't have any physical damage, and
oh,
that's aggressive.
Double flashes.
Yeah.
Only very keen to make that first flash count.
I mean, look, if I'm being completely honest, that's probably worth for Peace, because you think about the champions and what they have in their kit. The Volibear is very reliant on the flash Q for the first gank, because you... Ooh, nice trade.
Well, he needs it for the gap closer, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
you need it for the gap closer, right? Especially with all teams having summoner spells available, but the Xin Zhao has a gap close in kit. So, obviously not a big deal, not a huge problem, but just a little one.
Let's see if that comes back to haunt them. Might see a little bit more passive unless he can find himself a creative angle like this, roaming towards an unwarded bot Tribush. Waiting for Peace just to maybe crash this wave in, overstep just a fraction too far. Cupcake
on the bar.
Feigning a bit of a reset here, might go for the magical journey, or is it even required? Oh no, Omi's been locked in place, the Tether connects, the damage is there, the shield to buy himself a little bit of mitigation. But that gank goes sideways.
Yeah, but imagine the world now where you have the flash, right? I mean, if Volibear uses the flash there, maybe onto the Karma, because the Ezreal's still got the Arcane Shift. I mean, we're seeing how this lane's going already, right? I mean, Claire still has the teleport, granted, that's completely fine. But he'll have to TP back to this wave.
Very close predictions. 54 to 46. It's always been a bit of a banger matchup. We saw a tiebreaker to decide split 1 as for seeding.
Yeah.
You would almost argue that, if not what the players agree is, might be a bit of a rival matchup.
Good stun coming out of Bard there. You know, I wouldn't necessarily say before the game, Skimmy, that the Bard Ziggs is a kill lane, but you know, they nearly killed Zingy there.
Skills shot central, really, isn't it? If they can connect, then they've got a world of pain waiting from it. TP to follow also in the bot lane, so Guncrab will be able to deploy into the map a little bit quicker. Worth noting that Shock is running Electrocute and Ignite, so no TP in mid lane, but they will still have the 2-2 TP match across both teams.
That's a pretty big win there for Direwolves, by the way. I didn't realize that Ezreal had no teleport. Obviously, Guncrab taking the teleport, able to pick up a turret plate, pick up a CS lead, wave coming back to him as well. So yeah, like, decent early lane for Direwolves in the bot side.
Feels like a world away since we saw bot laners take TP.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you don't need... What else do you need, right? Like in this particular game, you know, the Ezreal Karma is not going to kill you. If anything, you're going to get poked out of that lane, so the teleport has way more useful than the heal or whatever else you wanted to take. This might be a dive here, and I really like this. This for me is split one piece, right? Lisa and Appy. This is communicated that he's about to hit level 6. Claire will not be level 6. Claire has no flash. Okay, level 6 now.
Can he outplay this one? As you say, no ignite, sorry, no flash, but can he buffer with the Hextech? He's locked in place 1. Appy! He's flashed away. He sliced and he diced, but he still fell on down.
Even though Appy falls down, it's still a favorable trade for Peace, right? Because the wave, like Claire's lost 3 waves in that
20
instant.
CS down, big wave to crash, as you say.
And I mean, it's only going to get worse, right? Because yeah, that's the initial like repercussion of that. But that next wave that you see creeping up in between 2 turrets now, that's Appy's, right? So, I mean, it's just going to grow, and it is a worthwhile trade. Obviously, Appy would be hoping or wishing that he didn't burn the flash, but I mean, nevertheless, its execution could be better. But I mean, in terms of the aggression we want to see out of this Peace lineup, that's fantastic.
As you say, going back to their roots. A piece that we grew to love and perhaps even fear, knowing what they can achieve.
Yep.
Promising signs to start off this one.
Also, it's going to be a Divine Thunderer on Lisa, not a Gore Drinker in this game. Gore Drinker's the more common of the 2 builds that we see nowadays on the Xin Zhao.
Yep.
It gives you that, because you think about the champion, right? The way that the champion's kit functions is it's all melee range. Everything that you do has to be in melee range. And, okay, nice gank there.
Yeah, very good gank, right? Also got the real flash. Not a flash stolen.
No.
So the pressure is starting to build up. I think as you're saying, right, kind of lends its hand to say that Lisa is going to be very keen for the sustained trades. Get inside and 1v1, wherever it may be, as opposed to the Gore Drinker, you know, charge on through, get a little bit of life back. And hope to be sort of the meat shield, if you will.
Yep. Now, I'd love to see only Dippy's head topside. Because, again, Claire's such a pivotal part of this composition, as we're seeing now from the Direwolf squad. But Claire's such a pivotal... Lisa might be caught. Oh, no. Zingy's read the play.
Cupcake's going to try and jump into this one. Stormbringer to disengage away, but now where does he go? Does he flash out of the Herald Pit? He's taking the long road instead, and as a result, Telly's stolen his ult and might just look to use it against his own team as that pushes out another flash. Peace on the hunt. Peace looking for foods. And as you said, Jubes, Peace perhaps on the prowl.
I was about to say, Peace are eating tonight. They're eating good at the moment. That's just a very good play, and honestly, props to Zingy, because again, whilst he gets the assist, he pops the shield, but that play is only possible because he's there. I mean, this is how we see Direwolves be so successful with this Bard pick, because they're always there first. He has the tempo, he has the moves, he's really smart, Cupcake, how he plays the map, but that should be being matched by Zingy. And I mean, so far, Lisa, what, 2 KP out of 2? I mean, it's expected when you're playing the Xin Zhao, but what Peace really need to do is keep their foot on the gas here, because they've got the lead now. They're going to pick up the Rift Herald. They're going to get the charge. I'd be looking at putting this one topside, and they're really set themselves up for success so far. Probably, arguably, one of the better early games we've seen from Peace in a while.
I think so as well. I think if you look at their recent form, it really has dropped off a cliff. Certainly hasn't been to the standard that they'll be holding themselves accountable for. And whilst top lane clearly looks like the point of aggression, the point of attack here for Peace, you still got to look at mid and bot. And that seems to be where Guncrab and Shock in particular are finding their individual success.
Yep. And look, bot lane's just trading even, right? It's just ping pong with the waves. But the one place there where Shock is having a little bit of success is in the mid lane, and now, oh, hang on, Gimme.
They could be in trouble, but only here, ready to go, ready to back him up, has no ult. If anything, there just to present another number.
This is an advantageous position here for Peace though, right? Claire nowhere near being able to fight. Plate goes across. He could put the Rift Herald down here if he likes, yep. You're not going to get the turret.
Oh no, he lost the cannon too.
Yeah, you're not going to get the turret, but you will get all the plates. And so that's as good as gone, that turret, right? Like whenever they want. If anything, they could probably dive now, to be honest with you.
They've opted for the safer play, gone for the reset. All lanes pushing at the moment. As you look at the minimap here for Peace, starting to find their footing in this one, warm up to the occasion, spilling blood in the water.
That's a big power spike too that just popped up on your screen there.
Yeah.
The Gore Drinker.
Double Divine Thunderers to come out from the top half of Direwolves, but Appy going to be very keen now to continue to be in the driving seat and sustain through all the damage that Claire will be hopefully ramping up to find.
Tally's having a rough time in this lane. Obviously, nothing substantial by any means. This is what's expected, but farming on the turret, lost 2 plates. Shock playing extremely well so far, and I'd love to see only lean on him now. Lean on the Zoe here a little bit. Use the Zoe pressure to then get some pressure somewhere else. And just start to take control of the game, right? Mid lane's the most important, mid-jungle, most important role in the game in my opinion, maybe barring jungle support. Just because you're able to influence both sides and get control of Summoner's Rift through the middle.
Yeah, how influential have we seen these support players being in recent weeks, right? The ability to leave their AD carries to do their own thing.
Okay.
Now the junglers do battle.
Oh,
and that
wow.
was a fantastic paddle start to prevent any kind of knockback.
Yeah, I think he was just a little bit greedy on the Xin Zhao ultimate there, right? If he popped that one earlier, he just walks out.
I mean, he was looking for the immune damage, but just a little too late.
Yeah, and again, this is back to the talking point. Shock is having a blinder so far. I mean, yeah, he's only got he's got a kill to his name, sure, but take into account the CS lead, the control he's having around mid lane here, and it's good to see Shock and only linking up and starting to create some pressure. Like, look at the pink ward coverage they got now bot side of the map.
Yeah. All channels, all access avenues, right? Through the river, through the enemy jungle. Clearly got some eyes as to what part of the map they want to protect so far.
And Leandro's been picked up by Gunkrab, so, you know, at this point in the game, he's very self-sufficient. I mean, Cupcake really only needs to pop his head into the lane for EXP at this point, right? They're not going to be getting any solo kills anytime soon. So it's just going to be about what can Cupcake do, where can he do it? And again, the talking point that I have is that, you know, Claire's not in a terrible spot in any stretch of the imagination, all things considered, right? How he's been dove upon, you know. But maybe it's time to start getting your only AD threat into the game. Because if Claire falls behind and only doesn't really get accelerated on this Volibear, then what, you're relying on the Zoe, on the Ziggs?
Doesn't sound like a recipe for success, if you ask me. It's a fantastic Cosmic Binding, locking him in place. Tempered Fate there as well. The disengage from the aggression that Peaceful posturing for. Tier 2 turret was the ultimate prize, but they're going to get denied that opportunity. Gunkrab once again looking to be a pest in the bot lane. Sneaks away another turret plate before they all fall away. He's got himself a TP. He's got himself a flash. He's going to get collapsed upon from all angles right now.
His TP's out here.
Is he going to run and try and deny, or is he going to blast cone and try and TP?
Does he? Oh! Execute! Telly has flash. Oh, yeah. He got it. He had time to base. Yeah.
Wow.
Happy had time to recall, and oh, that's hilarious.
You just let the one play out on itself, don't you, really?
Yeah.
What can Direwolves do as a result, though? They've taken the opportunity to draw Pieces' attention elsewhere inside their own base to try and push some more structures. They've yet to find one completely, but they've put a fair bit of work into at least the mid and bot.
The game state, if you're a Peace fan, you've got to be happy with, right? 2k gold lead. The one, I guess, point in which you wouldn't be happy with is the fact that the two dragons have gone the side of Direwolf. If that stun lands, Tally might be in a little bit of trouble there. But yeah, these two dragons on Direwolf's side, it gives them a lot more time in this game, right? Whereas Peace really want to put their foot on the gas, really want to be the ones that are pushing, you know, the limits, if you will.
Yep.
And putting the pressure on Direwolves to make calls. So, you know, being two dragons down is obviously not ideal, but again, have a nice little gold lead that they're sitting on at the moment. But for me, Shock being up 2 levels into this matchup is no bueno. And probably a dead Tally here. Can he take the volley ult though and live?
Well, the Ziggs bomb's going to land on his head, but it's a shutdown order saying fan by shot. You can travel from mid to bot, but I'll still hunt you down now, 2-0 individually. And Peace are going to take their time now to say, well, you run bot side, you're distracted. Let's go mid and try and break these tier 1s for ourselves. You can see that Claire, I'd imagine, would be freezing that wave, looking to try and claim back the deficit, which is huge at, say, what, 40 CS?
Yeah.
That just allows Peace to reign supremely in this map and force their hand first.
And this Rift Herald's probably mid turret that falls down. It's in charge range, but Appy's actually taken it and just said, you know what, I'll play on the side lane, drop the Herald, and see what we can get with it instead. But yeah, Tally's in a bit of a pickle because he's 2 levels down, and that means more than anything right now, in the sense that he's got 2 kills to his name, but he was worth a shutdown, gave the shutdown. The 2 levels is gold that you can't see as well, right, in terms of stats. And yeah, gonna have to see what they can do to get him back into the game.
Just see a little bit of
got gold
passive
here.
side lane gaming. Well, before that, before Shock found that shutdown, it was really the Appy show. He was so far gone above the rest of the competition. We've seen Guncrab utilize the TP to good success to sneak away some turret plates. But Shock is the most gold, the most experience. Might just be the man to watch in this game. The Herald's going to get summoned. Mid turret will soon fall on down. But Peace are looking for the perfect trifecta by taking 3.
Even Claire's done such a good job, right? Like, look at total experience. Claire's ahead in EXP because he's been able to freeze that wave for so long.
He has. Cosmic Binding connects. Sees trouble bubble as well. A lot of CC there so far. Stormbringer having to be used there by Tally, stolen away, and he flashes as well too. Claire on a flank, looking for an ultimate, finding his target, goes on to Lisa. Might not be the one he's after because he gets stunned against the wall and can't do much more than just that. Falls on down. Guncrab locked across the wall. And somehow does not get pounced upon there by the Zen. All that chaos, but only 1 pick.
That was a 4v5 though, right? Like, Peace came out ahead on that, and that was an absolute 4v5. Chaeon had no influence in that team fight, and when he did arrive, he had no mana, so really well executed from Peace there, and Appy was just so huge on the front line. He even flashed in, nearly picked up a couple kills too at the end of that one, but Dragon picked up the denying soul point from the Direwolves, who were having a small gold lead, Peace, but nothing to write home about, right? It's just going to come down to execution at the moment.
Yeah. We've seen stranger things happen already tonight, right? 8k deficits and still the team fighting and punching from below. Able to get it done. Interesting situation we find ourselves in though. Much closer affair than maybe some people would have given it credit for. I suppose the predictions themselves were pretty much bang on the money. What was it, about 54% sway in favor of Direwolves?
Yeah, Direwolves definitely the favourites, but it wasn't too far out of the realm of possibilities.
He's to be happy that they're able to steal away that dragon at least, right? Prevent the early soul point that Direwolves could have been banking on.
Yeah. Now, the 2-item power spike for Peace is going to be very important, right? Because that's when you start to see, you know, I mean, the top side of the map, the Sterax, is what they want as a second item. Xin Zhao's going to go for the Wit's End, so that's completely fine as well when you think about the damage spread that's coming through from the side of Direwolves.
Yep.
Tally's going to have, you know, the Merc Treads Everfrost, so he's ramping up a little bit too. So across the board, like if you're a Peace fan, you're happy to just wait this one out, farm those 2 items, and then force your next objective. Shock might be caught here. No flash. Never mind. Slept Lisa there, so.
Got away with one.
Yeah.
And I suppose whilst we talk about Peace being quite content to wait this one out, then I'm sure the biggest benefactor has to be Claire, because we keep talking about, you know, how he's clawed this one back, and whilst there is still a huge CS discrepancy, the experience really told it all for us.
Well, Claire still doesn't win this 1v1, just because obviously the Sterax coming through. He wants it though.
Well, he's actually looking for it, as you say.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe Claire.
chunk. Took nothing.
That's a big chunk. Like maybe Claire's feeling real comfortable. Doesn't have the ignite. But, you know, Appy's just eating the wave, letting Claire push this one in. So we did hear Coach Draft Lord, Mid Lord say Appy was just going to play safe. Appy was just not going to get dived by only and let the team figure it out on the other side of the map.
Been a bit of a quiet game by Only's accounts, if you take into consideration his last few matches, especially the last one where it was, what, 14 kills in the Zen. He's been a catalyst, a big driving force to get them into the game for the first 15 minutes.
He's been quiet, but he's done enough, right? Like, he's got 2 assists to his name, and those 2 kills are what Shock's got to his name. So in terms of what he's done in Summoner's Rift, like, it's been in the right area. You know, because Shock is the one that's generating so much pressure in this game, which the office have to attribute to Only. Only is going for the Zhonyas as a second item, by the way.
He is indeed, yeah. There's the Seeker's Arm Guard, right? So we've seen this happen before, I think, in one game. I forget which one it was, where the fact is he was jumping in, having to hit the Stormbringer to disengage away. We talked about it earlier tonight, I think, right? Give himself a little bit of HP. Says, I've scattered the information, but I can't face check much more. So this might be a game that stalls out into 2 items.
Cupcake took a big chunk from something. Claire's read this play really well. I mean, whole of Direwolves have read this play.
Exhaust onto Tally. He's going to jump in, goes golden, but down to 50%. Paddlestar just a fraction too early, but the bomb secures the deal. In comes Zappy with the Dominus ramped up in charge. Tries to buffer up there with the Hextech ultimatum, but he falls on down. He gets put to sleep, and he drops down to 52.
Just a 1-for-1. And I mean, Cheon's here. Got his 2 items. Needs to be careful of the shock. Shock and sleep from downtown. But that's just a really heads-up play from Direwolves. They had 3 members waiting, using shock as bait. And, you know, whilst it is a 1-for-1, the more Tally's the one that falls down and they lose minions in a side lane, the better that is for Direwolves, right? Like, shock's level 14, highest level in the game. And I mean, gold lead's pretty much non-existent. Like, it is close to 1,000, but in terms of how these teams scale and what they want to do in particular team fights, as well as the Dragon being up and available shortly, you'd have to be a happy camper if you're a Direwolves fan.
We'll start to wonder if this game will start to explode.
It has to eventually, right? Like, these team fights have just been 1-for-1, no one falling down, being very close.
The question becomes when, though. Are we still holding on to the idea of 2-item power spikes, or do you say, we've got an idea, oh sorry, we've got an item spike, Dragon's up in 20, we're forced in the fight whether you like it or not?
Yeah, it has to be now, right? This is it. Because I like to look at pings when I'm casting. Like, you see on the way pings, and you know that's the team's committing for that, right? Oh, missed that. Oh, wow, they can't contest anymore.
Yeah, chance is gone. Oh, has to put the summon heal, and that might have just been the difference maker there, as the bot lane of Peace is just gone.
Yeah. And I mean, they just don't have prior, right? Like, Tally's having to eat that top wave. He can't afford to sacrifice that to come down to that Dragon. And I mean, that's just a really nice pick coming out of Shock. And Dragon picked up Soul Point. Again, not the end of the world. Like, it's all, we talked about it again. Like, it's just 1 kill. It's 1 kill, but yes, it puts him on Soul Point. But again, like, it's only a Cloud Dragon, Cloud Soul rather. So still anyone's game, and it's yet to blow up, but you have to say, like, that one team fight, the next team fight is really going to solidify who comes out on top.
Well, they look quite strong right now, both Shock and Guncrab. They're both sitting on the Void Staff Power Spike. A lot of damage to try and contain with. You saw how much respect had to be shown there by Cheon.
There's overvision. They're all overvision right now. So this play is just not going to work. And Direwolves, for me right now, have a better read on the map, right? Because Peace are posturing bot side and clearing vision bot side, but there's no objective to play for. There's nothing to play for. Like, yeah, maybe you're getting vision down for the Renekton, but he's not going to win the game in the side lane here, right? He's not pushing up to that tier 2. So you're sacrificing and deploying on the wrong side of the map. Baron buff is up. You need to secure vision. Tally's already being spotted.
He's in trouble. Magical Journey. He needs to flash away. He's still held on to it. And that'll be all she
Can he go on Shock here, though? Nah, he has the flash picked up. But yeah, this is my point, right? Like, you're just reacting. Peace should have deployed here. Oh, okay.
Well, Peace were clever there, weren't they?
Yeah.
They jumped in and used the Magical Journey for their own good effect too.
Oh, maybe not that. Okay, I didn't see what was beyond that Magical Journey, so. Nice turret picked up here. Oh, that's deep from Lisa. He does not care at all.
I mean, he wasn't messing around, right? When he followed it, he said, I'm a man on a mission. I am keen to punch on. Certainly is looking to try and zone members away, wrestle back some vision control themselves as they look to scan out topside river and make it belong to them instead. Start to wonder if that is really the ticket here, whether or not they feel threatened enough to say, well, we can wait out 3 minutes, or if they need to say, let's force a fight. Let's go for the Baron. We've got our own item spikes. Let's force this 4-5v5 because, you know, as you say, 1 pick here, 1 pick there. It's not enough to truly unlock the map.
No, it's not. But, I mean, again, all things considered, longer this game goes, you have to be very comfortable if you're a Direwolves fan. Yes, they have the Ezreal, they have the Sylas. Like, in terms of scaling, they do completely fine. But just the pressure that this Soul's going to put on you is going to be tough to deal with. And I mean, like, Peace are just, I guess, showing us not inexperience, that's maybe not the word, but I feel like their deploys are just on the wrong side of the map, a little bit disjointed. No protection for Tally, or Tally not really working around the pressure points of where his team are. So again, maybe he's caught, but this time they do have vision. But again, what do you do with this vision, right? it's all well and good to trade waves. It's all well and good to do what Peace are doing right now. But hold the thought.
That's a nice little portal.
Teleport. Oh, he's in no man's land.
Certainly is, but Shock's not there to back him up right now. Appy's stuck between a rock and a hard place. 1v3 he goes in. They're going to all follow themselves to the magical journey. Well, that's the smallest one of them all. He went for the Gore Drinker, flashed away, but still got clapped by the Bear Claws themselves. In comes Clear, dashing on in, but it's buffered by the Crescent Guard of Xin Zhao, and then Shock is unleashed. A double kill so far. Tempered Fate will not connect, but Direwolves aren't stopping for that. What a triple kill for the Star Direwolf mid laner. And now we're starting to see those killing sprees coming on through.
Yeah, and I mean, congratulations to Shock there for getting, for securing the play of the day. Fantastic there on the Zoe, landing those bubbles. What's that copy and paste? Haha, it's me. I'm a Zoe main. She's cool. Like, you know that copy and paste?
I know
Zoe?
the one. I know the one. I'm sure Twitch chat will be on board with it.
I'd love to see it because that's pretty much how I felt watching Zoe in that exchange. Zoe with a lead is just near unplayable.
I hope Zoe wins XD. I'm a Zoe main and she's just so fun.
Yes, but you know, 5k gold lead. So this teleport is absolutely no man's land. Like, he's teleported into another country. He's not even playing it in Australia at the moment. That's somewhere else. And he just gets taken down, kited out. Yeah, it does a little bit of that damage on the back end, but Peace are just feeling the pressure to force. Like, they're feeling the pressure to follow up the teleport, and they just fall down one by one, man. Cookie crumbles, as they say. And Talia just goes down there. Haha, Zoe's so fun. Haha, outplay.
She's super random, but also smarter than she looks.
XD.
Just like me, XD. Well, Divers will be feeling pretty happy about that one.
Yeah.
4k gold lead now. That is the biggest buffer, or biggest difference, really, more than anything in this game.
It's 4k.
Sorry, we were asking, you know, when would this game blow open,
Yeah.
and it took a moment like that.
It's 4k, but when you consider draft and like at least how the Zoe and the Ziggs want to operate, it may as well be 10k, because you don't have a good source of hard engage for Peace. Their hard engage is literally a Xin Zhao audacious charge, and that would be audacious to say the very least. Like, if that's how you're starting to fight. I mean, Zoe and Ziggs are just gonna have a field day. It's just skill shot practice. They're at the target range now. Look, here we go. Ready? There we go. Missed one, but that's fine because we're practicing, and we've got 2 cannon waves now with the Baron buff. There's just absolutely nothing Peace can do. And again, it's not that big of a gold lead. Yeah, it is, what, 5k? Okay. You know, it's not the biggest one we've seen in League of Legends, but it's just so hard for the composition of Peace to operate. Like, what do you do at this point, right? Look at that.
Yeah, Lisa would have just gone. Leandri's burning him away. Now you're going to get zoned away from even defending this inhibitor for the pressure and the skill shots you just described. The 4-1 split is taking place.
Yep.
Clear TP'd mid to push the wave in, synchronized as they may. 2 inhibitors will fall on down. And if 30 minutes into this game, Direwolves are looking to put a bow on it. They're looking to try and end this game with the buffs on a lockdown. And the damage coming on through relentlessly. Peace can't even walk up.
Well, there's 4 cannon minions at this play, and Lisa's about to fall down.
Oh. Sidesteps it. Another Sleepy Trouble Bubble. More damage, more poke. Chaeyoung caught. Stun does not connect from the minion. But the skill shots, the cannons, they are inspired. And they are ready to get themselves another win here for the Direwolves boys. One Stormbringer to try and shred everybody down. Lock them on a grey screen. Go golden because it's a trophy that you're wishing to get. The Nexus itself is theirs for the taking, and Direwolves will end the week with a win.
Yeah, Direwolves really... It's probably not what we're used to seeing from them, right? Opposite to the interview that we had at the start of the game. They don't want to play slow, they want to play fast, but this was more of a slow, methodical game. They just picked up EXP leads, CS advantages, or maybe not CS advantages, but EXP leads, and they just closed that one out, like no dramas at all.
And a few CS advantages, but it was a bit of a roughie there for Clear on the top side. Mac, you look at that game and you say, Peace, okay, new roster, hungry talent, keen to show off what they can do. There's plenty of that. But the demons of Peace continue.
Yeah, the demons of Peace. And there was moments where I thought, okay, Peace could actually make this happen. But then Direwolves put their big boy boots on and started to play a pretty damn good macro game. So managed to take that one nice and easily.
What are you laughing about?
You know why I'm laughing.
I don't know why either of you are laughing. Can you please share with the rest of the class?
Twitch chat's got the copy and paste rolling about Zoe that I wanted.
Ah, beautiful. Good job, Twitch chat. Congratulations to you guys, and big congratulations to Direwolf.
Look at the power we have.
Doing work. Huh?
Look at the power we have. You know, we started reciting a little bit of copy pasta in the cast, and then next minute.
Well, this is what it must feel like to run a country, to be honest. I feel like
True.
I'm running a country right now.
True.
With great power comes great responsibility. Thank you, Twitch chat. we will do great things together.
I really love the exclamation more Jubes in chat. You guys should also type in exclamation playlist and exclamation DoorDash while you're at it as well. Lots of crazy commands that you guys can use. But Direwolves, you know, leading the charge as well, commanding up the store and storm, commanding up a storm and commanding the rift. Really, just making everything happen. And is this the one you were talking about, the shock player play of the day that you thought should have been it?
It was just a shock diff this game, right? It was a bit of a shock to the system, you could say. So yeah, I mean, he had such a good game. It was really stable, and it wasn't anything that stood out in particular, right? It was just a lead from laning phase, some turret plates that really just pivoted into some one shots. I mean, damage there says it all, right? You know, they're both kind of poke champions, the Ziggs and the Zoe, but you know, to outdamage the Ziggs, especially when the Ziggs had a free lane and was pretty far ahead in his own right, it's just a fantastic performance from Shock, and he was definitely not capping, and he was gapping.
Oh, he certainly was gapping, and get that voice clip, put it in the content for Direwolves later on in the week. You know it, you love it, and you love to see it as well. But something you don't love to see is Peace getting another L, because that means that they are still going to be tied for 5th, I believe, with Legacy after today's game. So there's nothing to put them out in the lead, or there's nothing to put Legacy out in the lead either. And you kind of feel a little bit bad for them, because now they're negative by 2 wins. So they can go fully negative by the end of the season. Just like 6 and whatever, or 7, whatever they're on.
7 and 10 now, isn't it, Mac?
It's 7 and 10.
Yeah, it's not looking too good. So it truly is, once again, back in 5th place, the battle between them and Legacy.
Yeah, well, that's certainly something. But a team that has turned their story around, of course, is Direwolves. And Nat is down on the sidelines to have a quick chat with one of those winners.
Yes, I'm going to be joined by Shock to have a bit of a discussion about that game. Congratulations on the win and the stellar performance down mid lane. How is the team feeling after that one?
I think everyone's actually a bit like, we're happy with like how the game went, but the draft went really like different from how we were expecting, because we didn't really know what they were going to play, to be honest, because we've only seen one game with that roster. So preparing for them was like definitely very weird. And even when things went like well for us in the draft, they were definitely like, not what we were expecting, you know? So it was very different from how I thought it was going to be.
Shock?
Well, actually, I think the biggest thing was the blind pick Silas. So I think Silas is really hard to blind pick, and they banned 4 mid laners. I was like, well, I can't remember, like Lucian, Syndra, Cassio, LeBlanc or something, so that they could blind Silas, and then they still ended up with a bad matchup. So that was like really surprising. So yeah, I mean, that I was really happy when I saw blind Silas.
Yeah, it could have got a lot worse for you. But that early game, I would have to say, Peace matched your aggression quite well. It seemed very even. Was there a lot of worry from you guys leading out of that early game that you might not be able to get the win?
We weren't really worried. Like, we had a comp that scaled really well and also really good at stalling. When you have like Ziggs, if you don't lose your mid tower, you kind of just like make the game go for 40 minutes, even if you're losing. So either way, we were going to get like a really long time to play out the game. And I think one thing that Zoe does really well is she like creates opportunities in the game when like nothing else is happening. Like, even if the teams are just kind of like looking at each other and not engaging, like sometimes a Zoe bubble will hit, or like Zoe will chunk someone, and then it just like means you get a free objective. So like the game was going to be really long, and we would have lots of opportunities to like catch out their mistakes. So I never really felt worried that we were going to lose, even if the early game was a bit shaky.
So is your win condition just kind of revolving around you having those engages and like those small pickoffs?
Yeah, I think like just when you have champs like Ziggs and Zoe, you're playing more for like poke or picks and stuff like that. It's not, you're probably not going to win just like a front to back DPS fight, especially with Zoe. But like, we really had the tools to make the fights that we want happen. So yeah.
Well, it worked out amazingly for you guys. You got that win, so congratulations once again, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
There you have it. So Shock, of course, a little bit shocked with how the draft went, but still even happy with how the whole game went. So that brings us to everyone's favourite segment. Well, maybe not everyone's favourite segment, but my favourite segment, the DoorDash player that delivered. And the player that delivered, I don't think there is any surprises here. That man that was previously on your screen here, he's back again doing some crazy bow thing. He's punching his hand, saying, watch out, you want a knuckle sandwich? Rusty will give you one, I'll give you one, and you'll have 2 knuckle sandwiches, and then you'll have no space for dinner, and DoorDash wouldn't like that. So at least Shock is going to have a $100 DoorDash voucher to take home and spend however he damn wishes. 66% kill participation. Skimmy, that's a pretty good number.
Yeah, it's a beautiful number, isn't it? It really does illustrate the fact that, you know, big TikTok shot gets it done, even if it isn't a zillion. The man is popping off when required. Look, I said mid-jungle would be the difference in this case. Shock. So, all right, boys, we're going to play late game. We just had an interview. We said we're going to go for early aggression. I lied. We're going to get it done now, though.
Doing such a good job. Now, that brings it to everyone else's favourite segment of the day. That, of course, is the play of the day. And do we even want to put it to a question here, or do we all sort of know what it is?
I don't know. I did say it was Zoe. I probably influenced, but who knows?
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if it's not the Shock Zoe, then it's going to be in the order game. But I'm going to be really surprised.
I'm going for Mboma's Ziggs ult that turns the game around.
Okay.
Against Legacy.
Yeah, well...
there were a lot of good plays.
Okay. Yeah, there were a lot of good plays, but you should have just gone with the one that you said initially, which is Juves' one. And I actually got told by production that, Juves, if you cast this well enough, then you could actually have the play of the day.
Oh, wow.
Of course, it could be this clip from Shock. Let's have a look back at it and see how it goes. It could also be Juves. So let's see.
We DoorDashing. I have to watch the replay first, of course.
Yes, taking notes.
Yep.
Okay, yep. Oh, yep, there's gun grab. Oh, yep. Okay, and then the piece. Yep, yep. Juice taking notes. Yep.
Yeah.
Got that one.
Right. Bit of damage. Little bit. Ooh. Count me in, boss. Okay, so we have a teleport coming in here from Abby. He lands the stun. It was a point and click, so I don't know what I'm saying, but he's in another country, in another dimension, in another universe. But guess what, guys? There's a Zoe main coming on in. I hope Zoe wins. XD, I'm a Zoe main. She's just so fun. Lands the bubble, lands the... I don't know what the paddle star is called. Yes, I do. I just said it. Double kill, Michael 2 play. Can there be a Michael 3 play? Of course there can, because it's TikTok Shock, ladies and gentlemen, with the triple kill. Enjoy the DoorDash voucher. You are fantastic, my man.
I don't even know.
That
was amazing.
I live for these moments.
I thought but I'll be honest, like a lot of the time I'm hard on myself. I don't think sometimes they're that good, but genuinely, I think that was a good one.
It was.
Genuinely, that one was a good one.
You always do a great job, Jude.
Wait, guys. I just got confirmation from Philly Wonka that Juves, you did, in fact, get the play of the day. So congratulations, Juves. You got play of the day today with that stunning performance.
Well deserved. All the hard work you put into.
Do you have anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank my mum again for all those burner accounts in Twitch chat. I would like to
She's
thank...
the one spamming the Zoe.
I would like to thank Mr. Phil for giving me the opportunity. I'd like to thank MacMate. Honestly, I'd like to thank everyone. It's a collective effort. I'd like to thank all of you at home for watching the LCO, for giving us your not welcoming us into your homes. It's been fantastic. I know we've got scheduled standings to look at, but I just wanted to give you guys a shout out. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and when you leave the room, remember to turn the light off because I'll be watching.
What?
That's just a message to everyone at home, you know, save electricity, save the bloody world. Now, let's have a look at the standings, where everything currently is at the end of day 17 of games. Of course, Pensonet's at the top, 13-4. Order and Chiefs close second, just one win behind them at 12-5. Direwolves 2 wins behind second with 10-7, and 3 wins ahead of 5th place, who are 7-10 for Peace and Legacy. And they are the ones that look like they still are the playoffs contenders. But you've still got Gravitas lurking there, 1 win less. Maybe if things change up for them, then they can do a little bit of a leapfrog over the top of Legacy and Peace. Who bloody knows? Well, Mammoth, of course, out of contention in last place, but can they crush some dreams?
I'm fairly certain if Gravitas win 1 game, they're actually 5th.
Oh, head-to-head?
Yeah, head-to-head against both, I'm pretty sure.
Right, and I think they still have a couple of games against these guys, right?
Yeah.
Or a couple of games, 1 game.
Legacy and Peace still have a game coming up, right? It's not until the last week of playoffs, but it makes me so excited, right? We have 2 games in between now and when they face off, and if they both happen to lose both games, it's coming down to that final week.
It's going to be bloody spicy. Now, let's have a quick look at the games coming up next Tuesday. This could be where the separation begins, 6 p.m. It happens. Order and Chiefs going mono a mono, 12-5 each. Who's going to be 13-5? Who's going to be 12-6? That's the real question. That's going to be huge. 7 p.m. Direwolves and Mammoth. Can Mammoth crush Direwolves' dreams of continuing this nice little win streak that they are currently on? 8 p.m. Legacy and Pentanet going head-to-head. Can Legacy be the crux that Pentanet cannot stop again? Or is it just going to be Pentanet a go-go, which is interesting because then if that first game goes, well, the first game, one of them will have 13 wins. If Pentanet lose, then we got a tied first game, and that'll be interesting as well. 9 p.m., of course, to round off the night, Gravitas and Peace. Peace, I guess we'll see who the lineup is once we get to that day, but for now, Gravitas looking at pretty damn good. Peace not looking so good, on a bit of a loss streak at the moment, so who knows which way that one will go. But, Skimmy, I need you to tell me.
Yes.
Who do you like the most on the desk?
Personally, I think it's important to love yourself before you can love others. So I love myself, and then after that, I love Juves, because we are, brothers in arms. And I put him up on a pedestal. He slam dunks with the one-liners. They laugh. I try to act smart. It's a dynamic that we've nurtured over a fair bit of time. I'm sure it's fair to say.
We've put in the hard yards.
We have.
Yeah, you put in the hard yards. And the other question I was going to ask is, what was the game of the day?
The game of the day? Actually, I've got 2. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Game 1 and then Game 4. So I guess you just have to stay for the entire show.
Oh, exactly. And I think that's a good way to put it. What about you, Nat? You have any favorite games coming up on Tuesday?
The last one, definitely 110%. Like, you can't sit here and not tell me that you're excited to see, I guess, the breakup that's going to occur between Peace and Gravitas.
Oh, but are you excited to see a breakup? Sometimes it's a sad thing. Anyway, that's it.
You're telling me.
I was like, yeah, that's a really sensitive topic to bring up in front of Juves right now.
Bring it in, Juvie. Come on.
The B word's banned from
Show me some love.
Wrong
Show me
side.
some love.
Wrong side.
Oh, yeah, beautiful. Thanks, mate.
I've got some leftover tissues from my Mumu cosplay if you want. Do you want them too, Juvie? No? Okay.
He's got a smile on his
I
dial.
got League of Legends. That's all I need.
And that's all you need. That's all you need at the end of the day. Bit of League of Legends, bit of LCO in your life, bit of DoorDash to keep you fed, and a bit of Mackie Boy to close the damn show. Thank you all very much for watching. It's been a damn good week here on the DoorDash LCO, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
The fact that Wei had to teleport up there, and we still may even see a solo kill.
You still might see the fight break out. Needlework has to be proc, looking for the auto attack. The execute goes on out. Next, getting so close. One more. He steals it away. He gets the first blood.
The hidden gem of PGG would be decoy at this point.
What does he have to sacrifice, Relief Parade? If he's only lost one single turret plate, the TP commit in from Biopanther. A 2-man shockwave that just pretty much evaporates them. Easy resets and easy souls. Could get ourselves a Magi's to follow. Let's not get too carried away. Caster Curse has done stranger things in the past. In goes the Glacial Prison. Locks in place too. The move full onto multiple members. He couldn't even zone you. A big shutdown found here by Momo. He gets himself a triple kill amongst it all. They could turn these things around. They could wait for the perfect team fight. Looks to try and turn their attention onto Mel, who's just being separated from the rest of the herd. The solar flare goes out to Incursio. 2 members lock themselves in place from Legacy. Last breath goes out, knocking members up. But Permafrost cancels him out of this game. At a deficit, but I'm going to group up and try and find fights. Once again, Floppy don't miss. Flash Flay gets it done, removes speed. So many TPs coming to back this one up. It is a 1-for-1 trade, but look at Kevy getting it done. There's another one, but talk about Puma. The burn. Double kill fan for him, double for Kevy. And try and TP.
Oh! Execute. Telly has flash.